Well, the patriarch of one of the most famous families in entertainment leaves behind a very complicated legacy.
Joe Jackson died yesterday. He started the Jackson 5 with his children, which helped launch Michael Jackson's career. Jackson was known for ruling his family with an iron fist, and some of his kids accused him of physical and emotional abuse, which he denied. He battled health problems in recent years, including cancer. Joe Jackson was 89 years old.